in a complete trend change. Okay, we could end up with a complete trend change, but I'm not saying that we are going to just from tapping into this region here. But we did see the retracement that I was looking for. Why have we seen the retracement? Because the market, guys, was overextended. Okay, when the market is overextended, what happens in the market? It needs to release. Okay, overextended, we needed to release, we released. Okay, overextended again, we need to release, and what are we doing? We're currently releasing. Okay, and it happens in the market, and it's just the market flow. So once the market tapped into my key area here of 1745 and showed some indecision, that showed to me, guys, that there was great potential for the market to show a retracement. Now, we just take it into the daily time frame just to really see where price is at the moment. Now, on the weekly time frame, guys, we are seeing a bearish pin bar. Okay, so that therefore highlights what? Highlights potential of downside movement. But before seeing that downside movement, we really must see the market breach through some areas. Okay, so this key area just through here should be really simple to see, guys. This region just through here, 1673, 1675, wherever anyone wants to call it, 1676, 1677. Remember, support and resistance is always a zone. No one's lines are going to be exactly the same as other people's lines. Okay, and that's something you need to just understand and accept, because everyone has their own thought process and everyone sees things slightly different. So at the moment, guys, we're coming back into this region. We have resistance, and just look here, guys, we have a bit more resistance as well. So from this area, guys, it's going to be really important to see how price actually reacts in this zone. On the 4-hour time frame, we could see a reaction from here, guys, which pushes us back to the upside. Okay, so we could see the market react and push us back to the upside. Now, if we do push back to the upside, the area that I will be watching first of all, guys, is just this area right here of 1710, 1709. Again, whatever you guys want to call it. Okay, yes, we have had the breach of this trend line, but again, trend lines for me are just a guide of price. Okay, so we've broken through this area. We have seen a 4-hour lower high. We're seeing the lower low. Now, to really see the market obviously push back off to the upside, guys, we must see the market structure change. Okay, now to see the market structure change, I've just pushed us into the 1-hour time frame here. See the market structure change. We can currently see 1-hour time frames doing what? We're bearish at the moment. Okay, just put this there. We're bearish at the moment. Now, to see the market really push back off to the upside, guys, we want to see the structure do what? We want to see the structure change and the structure shift so that we can therefore see the confirmation of some buying opportunities. We could see a breakout of this region and we could end up rejecting from this most recent 1-hour lower high and come back down into this region. Okay, so always take a look at the previous most recent structure on the time frames to see where the market is currently flowing. So overall, guys, for an upside move, I'd be looking for the market to really show us some confirmation of some buying opportunities before looking for one. Okay, so we're obviously looking for this region here to be breached. Okay, and then we're looking for, people call it a retest, I call it a retest and a higher low because that's what we've got. And then if you miss it, you could potentially get in on the next one. You don't need to be the person that always gets in on the peak. You again don't need to be the person that always gets in at the bottom. As long as you're still able to be profitable from the markets, you don't need to be able to get into the market on every peak and every bottom. Okay, so that's very important. Now, as I mentioned, guys, here on the daily time frame, we've obviously come back into this area of support. Okay, so let's just zoom in. So we've obviously come back into this area of support. Now, guys, this support could be broken, and this is why we do our forecast, okay? Because if this support is broken, then I will be looking for the market to come a bit lower. So therefore, we can look at the daily time frame and look at the potential zones of a Fibonacci. Currently, we're at the 38.2, if I just add it back on, okay? So we're currently at the 38.2. which you can see just there. Okay, it aligns perfectly. Now, if we breach this, guys, we could end up coming into the 50%, the 61.8 or the 78.6. So I will be monitoring those zones for the potential area for the market to push back off and head to the upside. But again, when you go into the lower time frames, guys, you could actually get a quick short position from the market doing what? From the market showing a new lower low, new lower high, then come down into this area of support just through here. Okay, you always need to look left in the markets, and you always need to look left to see where the previous areas of stalling is. So if we do break through 1673, I'll look for the market to come first of all into 1642. Potential after that is into the area of 1620. If we just go back onto the daily time frame and I just put that Fibonacci back on, we can start to see where this actually aligns for us. Let me just drag it along because obviously I'll be in the corner when I render this video. Okay, so we just put this Fibonacci back on, where we can then start to see, guys, that the 61.8 aligns at about 1630. So coming back into that region would be quite key. We can also see it's an area of previous stalling, where the market then took the U-turn and we then pushed back off to the upside. So currently, guys, I'm going to be monitoring gold as we currently sit in a key area of support. Okay, so we sit in this key area of support. It's going to be very important to see what happens from here. And if you just remember what I said with the market obviously showing upside and downside, which correlates with the US dollar, guys, we can currently see that we're currently sitting at a key area of support here as well as gold also sitting at a key area of support. So as we go into the new week, I'm going to be monitoring price action around this area, but bearing in mind, guys, I don't need to be the first one in the trade anyway, so I can be a bit patient and wait for the structure to tell me where we're heading next. Going into Euro Japan Yen, then this is one of my favorite markets, guys, just removal drawing tools, just so we can really get a clear key understanding of currently where we're sitting at in the market. Okay, so we're just currently sitting in this region here where we keep tapping into these regions just down here. Okay, you can see over and over again we tap into these regions, but we do obviously have this bearish engulfing, slight small wick on the bottom. We may get a 50% retracement before some continuation. Just going into the daily time frame, guys, we can see what? Okay, we can see several wick rejections from this region. I mentioned this in previous videos, okay, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Several wick rejections. So from here, guys, we could potentially see what? We could potentially see the market break, or we could potentially see the market bounce. Going into the 4-hour time frame, and if I just bring back my drawing tools, you'll start to see exactly what I see in the market at the moment. Okay, just bring this like this. Okay, so we can clearly see at the moment, guys, that we're not really showing great movement at the moment. Okay, we're currently in between this high point and we're currently in between this low point. This clearly gives me the indication that I'm currently, guys, going to be a little bit patient until we see the market break out of this region one way or the other. Okay, so pretty much, guys, I want to see a breakout. Let me just put that back. That was an accident. Okay, I want to delete the trend line. Okay, so guys, we're pretty much looking for the market to show a breakout one way or the other. One other thing that we can see, guys, is the market is actually losing the momentum because we're obviously stalled here once and we're stalled here again. So we are losing a bit of momentum, and also the legs from the lower high to the lower low doesn't really breach the previous low too far. Okay, so that therefore highlights to us that the market is losing momentum. Now you can see this because look at previous low here. It breached it quite a bit before the retracement. Okay, the next leg didn't really break it too low, which highlights the potential of the market losing momentum. You can see this previously if we just look left. Once the market pushed, released, we then saw a volatile push to the upside. The move after that, guys, didn't even break the high. So that clearly therefore shows us that what? The market is losing the momentum in the market, and we could potentially have taken the U-turn, which is exactly what we saw. So now the market is back in this key area, which I highlighted to you on the weekly time frame, and I highlighted to you on the daily time frame. We're in this key zone at the moment. We're going to be looking for the market to either break out of this zone to the upside, or we're going to be looking for the market to break out of this zone to the downside. Depending which way we break would depend on which way I look for my trading opportunities. Just taking it into the 1-hour time frame then, guys, what we can start to see then is what? The market's forming lower highs, but the market is doing what at support? The market is failing to break through the area of support. So right now, personally, guys, I will just look at this market as, right, we are currently a bit choppy. I'm going to forecast maybe the potential of an upside move back into the region of maybe 1